I'll go ahead and I'll open us up in prayer, and then we can just start discussing Proverbs 14:1. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, I just thank you for today. We love you, and we thank you for the sunshine. We thank you that we can be together. And Lord, we do hold each and every one of our ladies in prayer. Lord, that you will just continue to give us guidance and open our heart through this study. In your name, amen.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
You can see Mama now. You can see Mama now.
Okay, so I do like this. It says, of course, this is the New Living Translation. The wise woman builds her house. A foolish woman tears hers down with her own hands. And I thought that was kind of interesting when I first read it that way. And the way Tommy explained it was, the woman can take her life and she can, like her husband or children and all, her extended family, and he said she could touch them and be either a testimony or she could tear them down and leave a bad taste in people's mouth, is how he put it. And I thought, yeah, because a foolish woman, what does she do? She's self-destructive. I agree with that. She does destroy. Kind of been that foolish woman here and there once in a while. Yeah. And of course, no one's going to be able to keep the godly standards perfectly. I tried once, and I kept getting mad, like, what's wrong with me? But I just thought we'd at least touch on the first 5 today. Well, so number 1, where it says, when you publicly dishonor your husband either by reputation or treatment, your husband in public. And this is where in Proverbs, he's talking about gossip, anger. It could be dishonoring, or a woman just even flirting in front of her husband with another man can be very dishonoring in public. So
husband bashing.
Yeah, the husband bashing, very much so. I thought so, and that's where when I was listening to it, and he says, Tommy said, a bad woman is like bone cancer. She just destroys the inner core of her husband. I just went, wow, never ever thought of it that way, because it is true. Because I know was one time I did that, and it made my husband feel very unworthy, and I just, to do that, it was just very. So we're gonna, let's go ahead and take a Exodus 23:1. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to wait until this is over, so go play, please. Thank you.
Thou shalt not raise a false report, but put thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness.
So basically here, what I got out of Exodus 23:1, and anybody can, I put making up or spreading false reports was strictly forbidden by God. So destructive gossip destroys and causes problems. That's what
in all relationships it does that.
Yeah, and I think Exodus 23, isn't he talking to Israel? And that's what I figured he was doing.
But it's like, in relationship to a husband, it's like parading all his faults for everybody to see. Well, you don't need to do that.
But
I think some women do. My husband can't ever do anything right. Well, that's such a lie.
And that's husband bashing. I like it. That goes along with the husband bashing. Yes, I know. I thought the same way, because I sit and listen to women. They'll talk about things and they'll look at me and I go, my husband will wash dishes. My husband does the laundry. My husband will have dinner ready for me if he's not working. I said, no, because he appreciates it. Because when he's doing his regular job and then he goes to help his friend do lawn care, I have lunches ready for him. And so he appreciates all that. And so I thought that, so Proverbs 25:18.
Right here. A man that beareth false witness against his neighbor is a maul and a sword and a sharp arrow.
So here in this Proverbs, again, he's pointing out that gossip is lying and it's vicious. and its effects are permanent. It's like a stabbing wound. You know, once you've been stabbed or you got a scar, it doesn't go away.
The wound may heal, but the scar is always there.
That's correct. You know, and that's just like when you say hurtful words, those words are always remembered. You
That's
know,
right.
it's, you know, you may forgive, but you truly don't forget. So, but we're supposed to. I'm
It's
just saying.
always kind of
It's
like,
kind of hard. That's what Satan does. He brings it up
Yeah.
again and again, so you don't
Yeah.
forget.
you kind of have like, you know, your husband's your closest friend in many,
Yes.
many ways, and then you get hurt, and you're like, I can use this against you, and I can use this
Yes.
against you. And
Yes.
it's like, hold on here.
It's like every time you have a fight, you bring up everything you ever did wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know, yes, was it yesterday? I don't know, maybe it was the day before, but I was just a little bit like, John, you've got to help me. And Evie walks in, and the first thing I do is I start talking about how, John, and yeah, that some people came over and we were gonna do something for our anniversary. We were gonna get some Barney burgers one year. And I don't know why I had to share that with her. I think I was just trying to get under her skin. And after I said, I thought, it wasn't very nice of me.
Yeah, well, I think we've all been there with that one. And then I came across 2 Thessalonians 3:11 and 12.
For we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly, working not at all, but are busybodies. Now them that are such we command and exhort by our Lord Jesus Christ. But with quietness they work and eat their own bread.
I thought that was pretty to the point. Don't be a busybody, because this tears down people. I mean, and it's pretty bad because you know who the busybodies are.
It's hard not to be one.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, and I think, and I know I've used it before, I think people will go, well, I just am really concerned. And it's really not a concern. You just want to know the lowdown.
On all the details.
Want all the details, and I thought, oh.
Why do we want the details?
We
And
need the details. All we need to know is this or this. You don't need to know the center.
Roxy is out. You guys,
You guys go play in the nursery.
thank you.
Can't play good swords.
Yeah. And then Psalms 37:4. I don't know if anybody has that.
Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart.
And I thought that was a good way to end that section, was because this is what he wants us to do instead. He wants us to delight instead of gossip and tearing down a person. You know, and that's what we're supposed to be doing, is delight in our marriage with our husbands. And that's what I took from that, is that, yeah, you know, instead of, I mean, we're all gonna get angry at our spouses or people, but I try to remember all the good things that he has done.
That's right. We are having kids. We need to.
Yeah. So and then number 2 is on domestic dishonoring. Of course, here we, I mean, I've had, this is a wife will dishonor her husband for their children, and Tommy put this. That's why I put this in there. He goes, "This, my friend, is suicidal in your marriage," and like we said last week, there's nothing wrong with the children seeing that you're having a disagreement and showing that how you resolved it, but to dishonor your spouse in front of your children, he said, is very detrimental to the marriage, because our husbands are not going to fight for control of the home, because God has given it to him through creation. And I never thought of that until doing this, and then when he said that piece, and I've heard another, and then after he said it, I heard somebody else say it, that it's the man's God-given right to be the head of the house.
Oh, yes, that's God's order.
Yeah,
God, husbands, wives, children.
And so I thought, well, that's why, you know, he said that they contingently will not fight control of the home because it's theirs. And so if a wife is going to continually be combative, he's gonna go somewhere else and he'll stay away, or he'll find somebody else that will honor him and listen to him. And I don't know about anybody else. I don't want that, you know. So, and I thought we need the virtual, you know, it's good to have good virtual, because what we put in our mind will come out of our mouth. That's where I thought Philippians 4:8 came in, where it says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good of report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Paul was, you know, basically saying we should put in our minds the right, noble, and pure things. And then when we have those, that's what's gonna, you know, it's in our heart, that's what we're gonna say, you know, because like I said, you know, I have foot and mouth disease sometimes. You speak and there goes, why'd I say that?
Me too.
And then I'd like to personal honoring. This is how a wife will treat. Yeah. If it is how you treat your husband in the front seat of the car, or in the bedroom, or at the table, or one-on-one, you want it to be you, him, and God. I don't know did anybody take the time to read Ecclesiastes 4:9-12 when they were doing the study?
Where did it tell us to do that?
In the questions, it said look up.
Oh,
Question number
yeah,
5.
two people to be better than one, to be warmer.
Right, yeah.
The person.
Yup, and how they lift each other up, and then with God in the middle, that gives you the,
I read that.
because you are a strand
strands.
of 3 that cannot easily be broken. I just thought, oh my goodness, that is so cool.
Right there. Yeah.
So it's, when you fall, if that person's there, they'll lift you up, and I couldn't get over the part where it says, again, if the 2 lie together, then they have heat.
Well, that is true.
Well, it is true, but I think right now, I think to myself, I said, I just want him as far away as possible because it's too much heat, and I'm trying to sleep, and I'm like flipping the covers off.
That you speak very silly.
But I
can't
do.
help it.
But no, I just think it's when you have your partner, or a friend, that's there for you to hold you up. It gives you the warmth that you need, and I just thought that was so kind of.
Yeah, burdens are easier to bear if you have somebody to share with.
Yeah.
And the good times are twice as good if you have somebody to share with,
No.
It just is.
Yes, and the financial rebellion, I just thought, when I kind of heard that, because I know that Tommy Nelson's talked on it, we've heard it here. Every time I hear that, I get a burden for that, because I can remember how I handled it in the beginning. But it's like when a woman uses her checkbook or a credit card as a crowbar to independence. Everybody thinks about when you're married, you're to have oneness, but that even means in financial. And did it take a long time for me to get that? It took a big whack over the head, I think. But I thought when I finally was able to honor that and let the control of finances and it became a partnership, a oneness with our finances. I see God, he's just been blessing us within the last 2 to 3 years. We've been so blessed. And I think I know that a lot of times there's a housewife that they don't earn money per se, have a salary, but they, you know, that financial stability together is important, you know, because they say what is hers is his and what is his is hers. But if a man says that, it's different. But no, I just feel like it validates the oneness if you're together with financials.
I learned that when I don't know, we've been married a couple, 3 years, I guess. Anyway, we were gonna take a vacation and the hot water heater wasn't working and just some things were going on, and I was home one day gonna clean and I couldn't get any water because of the belt slipped off the pump, it's the pump, not the hot water heater. And so I went down to the credit union, my credit union, my account, borrowed the money. Borrowed $1,500. That doesn't sound like a lot.
No,
Today
but
it's
at that
nothing,
time it
but at
was-
that
yeah.
time it was.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Anyway, so when Larry got home, I told him what I'd done. This is how he reacted. He sat down on the bed and he said, "How could you do this to me?" Just like I had plunged him into $1 million worth of it. It's not like we didn't both work and we couldn't pay for it.
Yeah.
But to him, that was
Yeah,
just,
it was,
I thought, in my mind, I said, I will never purchase any major thing without we make the decision.
Well, you know,
together.
I did that twice. Once when Bob and I were married, I went out and bought a new car when Catrice was a baby because the car I had wasn't, and she had the issue, she was on a monitor, and I felt that we needed a good vehicle. But I didn't consult him, and that never ever dawn on me that that's how he felt, because, and then one time I did a purchase without discussing it with Steve, and then that's when I got it. Isn't that terrible? That's when I got it.
Yeah.
So many years later, when it finally sunk in, God said, "Hello, what are you doing?" You know, no, but he said, he goes, "What if I would have went out and bought and spent $100 and didn't know that you did the same thing, and then we would have had been bounced a check here or there."
Yes.
And I just thought, that wasn't my intent. I'm really sorry. He goes, "No, I know that wasn't your intent." He said, "But you know, I think that we should be together before we make these type of decisions."
Big decisions.
And I thought, at first I was like, how dare you, kind of thing, you know, I work hard in my back of my mind, but then God said, remember, this is why you guys work together to be one. And I just thought, and you know, of course, through the tears, I'm so sorry, you know.
I don't wanna be to the point where I couldn't make a decision like to buy a new dress or something. And
Well, no,
and
yeah.
Larry was never like that, but
No,
well,
neither
there are
is he.
some husbands that are. I thought,
Well, yeah,
But
but I'm just major,
but
like you said, the
major
major
things. Oh,
things.
my
It was
word.
major, you know, because it was hundreds of dollars. It wasn't
Yeah.
like it was $30 or whatever.
You wanna know what he did? Right after I borrowed that money, he went out and got a new car so we could take a vacation. I did not pray about it. Apparently he didn't either, and that car was nothing but a lemon.
Oh.
We learned a lesson there too. I thought,
Yeah.
we're taking a vacation, you're borrowing money, you're getting a new car, and you borrow money.
Right.
It was just two young people doing stupid stuff.
Oh, yeah, well, and then, of course, you know, you get my age and you still make students.
Well,
I think some people still do. I'm just saying, you know, I wasn't real young, but yeah, I still was making, but I mean, I'll tell you the truth, I am so happy that I'm finally getting it, you know? So, well, and then number 5, our last one, a woman's discontentment. So Philippians 4, 11 and 12, sorry. It says, "Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned, in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. I know both how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be fully and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need." So a woman that's discontent with her place or where she is at or the things that she has is where I feel Paul is saying, according to the verses, no matter what state we're in, we can still find contentment if we look to God or in Christ. Because God does understand that there are circumstances in our life that we might need to have some godly counsel, but he wants us to be content where he has us at, and that takes a lot. I know for me, it's taken a long time to really find contentment. Every now and then I'll feel discontent with certain things, but then if I remember to take it in prayer to God, then I find that he brings me back to contentment in that area. So, but anyways, that was the first 5 I thought we could touch on, and that would. So now we can do the questions. So what can a wise woman do for her family is number 1.
She can either act godly or she can destroy him.
I put her testimony leads to God, and her life to touch those around her is one way too. What did you get, Lorraine? Or what did you put?
Was to keep a clean house, keep contentment, and not keep strife going at all the time.
I like that. And how is dishonoring your husband in public like bone cancer? I thought that was pretty easy.
Damages his reputation, and it damages his image to others, but it also damages his self-image.
Yes.
When you
like that.
dishonor him, you emasculate him. You make him feel like less of a man. He's not able to lead because.
Yeah, that's kind of what I put on. I mean, I put it as it degrades her husband, can destroy his character, embarrass him, or may even anger him. That's pretty much like what I kind of put down too, but in different words.
Yeah.
But, and then, why will a husband not fight for control of his own home? It's because it's his by appointment.
I think men, in general, not always, but I think most of them hate conflict.
Oh yeah,
No.
I didn't even think about that too.
I
That
just
is
think
true.
they do, and if you have to fight your wife every time you make a decision, you're supposed to be making them together anyhow, but he has the final say, according to God. So if he makes something that you don't like and you don't support him in that decision, then you're undermining his authority, and he gets tired of it. And I think if young women were smart, they'd remember, you keep doing that kind of stuff, there's somebody out there that'll want your husband. You think nobody wants him because you're mad at him, but I got news for you. There is always somebody.
There's always somebody.
He just keeps thinking that it's not worth doing anything, he just lets it go.
Yeah, and after a while, if you can't do anything right, why bother at all?
Yeah.
Like, if you keep nagging him probably about like, hey, this needs to be done, or, again, like you said, he'll stop doing that.
He'll
stuff.
stop.
You send them to a Bill Gothard pastor's conference and they come home and say, make me a list of all the things you want to do. I thought, and what happened to you today? But that's one of the things Bill Gothard taught. He said, women are the manager of their home, and it's important, if you want your wife to be happy and content, to fix the things that need to be fixed without having to wait 6 months. And then he said, make me a list of everything you want fixed. I thought, yes!
Because if they don't, some women will try to do it themselves and can make it worse.
I know my limitations. I never tried that.
Well, I have here and there, but what will a husband do to avoid conflict in the home?
Stay away.
Yes.
Work overtime.
Yes.
Go to the inn, find another one.
Plow another field.
Yeah.
Go to the gym. Go to the
Or stay
gym.
up there all night and clean the barnyards out.
Nope. Exactly.
Or find somebody else to do something with.
Or go golfing with the guys, or.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't thinking of that.
I was gonna say or.
Yeah, and
or,
that's terrible to think about.
or he'll find comfort in another woman.
Place. Yeah.
Some will do that, yeah. And then, of course, that's where we talked about, it's the Ecclesiastes 4:9. we put here, describe a cord of 3 strands. And of course, because I took it from what I read, God, a husband, and a wife. Yeah, I figure a couple works better together when God is in the center. It makes the strand stronger, is what I put
When
down.
God's the head of your household, works real good.
Yes. Yep. I mean, if it's you and God, that's because that's what it's meant to be for that, singlehood, I mean, I never had to do that yet, so. Maybe I won't ever, but, I thought about it, well, if something was to happen to one of us, well, how, I don't know why, I just think if I get things in order, okay, this is what needs to go here, you need to do that, and be prepared, but it's like, you don't
It's
know.
a big adjustment.
Yes, and you don't wanna, I'm sure a lot of people just don't wanna think about it. I know I've never really wanted to think about it.
Even now, I said, oh, I forgot to get Carol something to eat. I have that every once in a
Yeah,
while.
things
Yeah.
just pass through
Yeah.
your mind without, just there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I think about my mom and my dad now because the way my dad's been talking lately, it's just like, I've not experienced losing a parent yet. So I'm thinking, no, you got a long time yet. But I understand, you just never know. But still, it just is like, no, I don't like hearing you talk like that. So, I figured that's the same sense, but. So what is I just said, what is your opinion on financial stability in a marriage?
Debt-free.
Like it?
If you're debt-free and you have money saved for a rainy day, and you have enough money to give to God, I think you're in good shape. But debt-free is really nice because,
What is?
Yes, it is.
when something comes up, you're able to give to God, if, a special need. But if you're not debt-free, your money's tied up and you can't give what you don't have, and you have to honor God and pay your debts. So that comes first. And when we went into the ministry, our salary was cut by 3/4, actually.
Yeah.
So that was a really big adjustment, and I thought, I am never, ever not gonna give every week, because I thought I will never be able to make it up. Just
Right,
because-
Yeah, right.
And I
And I
thought,
agree.
we're gonna stay out of debt because there's nothing to pay it with.
Right.
And we had to drop some insurance and different things, but God was good, and we never went without food, we never went without clothes, we never went without our needs being met. So I always just feel like if you honor God first, that He meets your needs. You may not get all your wants, but you'll get your needs.
Yeah, I agree. I know that's our goal is, we're still, cause the house is our biggest debt, and it'd be so nice if we could get that thing halfway, or a good portion paid off, within the next, it just seems like it takes forever.
It does, but just even making, if you start out, when you first get it, make an extra payment.
Yeah,
Just one extra payment a year makes a huge difference.
Well,
I couldn't
that's-
believe it.
that's what I think our goal is, cause like we've been paying down all of the different debts that we've had, and that's been so nice, cause we can see the blessing from God in that case, and so that's our goal, is like, start making these little extra payments here and there on everything, cause then you can be debt free, and then like you said, if something major comes up, then boom, we have it.
Yes.
Just like I woke up one morning, it was 82 degrees in the house. I thought, whew, it was like, do you remember the storm where our electricity just flickered and then came back on? But I just couldn't understand. And I thought, so I hit the air conditioner. I'm trying to lower get it cooled down. Then I started listening. I'm thinking, I don't even hear it running. Oh, great, it's broken. We don't want to buy another one. So then I took a shower, and then I got out and I started doing that. I thought, wait a minute, why don't I see if a fuse flicked? And that's what it was. And I texted Steve finally again, I got it going, I did this, it's on. And then I was at work and I was telling the girl about it. I'm like, oh, she goes, what? I said, It's gonna be so cold when I get home, I just know it is, cause I put that baby down to 66, and I never have our air down that low. I went home and walked out and went, oh yeah, it's nice and cold in here. You know, the things that you don't think about, because it was just so hot, and it would have been 82 don't bother me, it was muggy in the house.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was 100 in there. So anyways, yes. How content, these were just personal questions. How content are you in your marriage? If you're not married, are you content with singlehood? And I just put, God is leading me to contentment in my marriage. So, I mean, I couldn't answer on singlehood, so. But anyway.
Well, you either learn to be content or you're fighting God all the time, and that's not even worth it.
Yeah, it's not.
You know, I always took that verse out of Job, "With always slay me, yet will I trust him."
Oh, I like that.
You know, I just,
That one did not come to mind when I was doing this one. That's a good one, though.
and, you know, I just kinda took that when, you know, it was a big loss. You know, lost not just my husband, but I lost my house and, you know, everything that goes with it. I had to give up.
Yeah.
I didn't have to give it up, but I
No, you didn't, but.
put it in storage, I guess, but what am I saving it for, you know? But just the decisions to decide what to keep and what to give away and what to sell, to me, that was just enormous. You know, it was just as hard to move as it was to lose, almost, not quite, but almost to lose Larry. It was just different, but I just thought, though he's slain, Job said that, and Job lost absolutely everything. I thought, oh, Job can do it,
So can I.
so can I, with God's
Yeah.
help.
You know, boils and whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's so much easier if you can blame somebody else. Don't want everybody to blame them.
Well, Aideen ain't here to close in prayer. Does anybody else want to close in prayer?
I can.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time of study, for your word, and for all the things that you give us on how to live our lives to please you. We think of Bev right now. We just ask God that you would lay your hands on her, heal her body, and when she goes through these treatments and through all the anxiety and the stress, we ask God that you would give her peace of mind. And we ask God that you would just help her as she journeys, and help her husband to be a good help to her, and help him not to be afraid either. All these things just work together like that, and we just ask God that you would be especially close to her and help her feel your presence. We think of Cathi and our unspoken. We ask God, you know the details and what needs to be done. We ask God that you would take care of that according to your will, and we ask God that you'd be with Carolyn. She seemed to perk up and want to do some therapy so she could walk, and now we don't know what's happened because nobody can talk to her. So we just ask God that you would fix that. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I know you can. So we just ask God that you would be with her. And Nika, as she goes through this radiation therapy, it sounds horrible, and she's sick and she doesn't feel good. And God, we just ask that you touch her body too, and help her. I know that I can tolerate pain better than I can nausea, so I just ask God that you be with her and help her to just get through this and to let the radiation do its job and kill the cancerous cells. And we think of Leonard and his recovery. We ask God that you would mellow him out a little bit, especially since he's going to have to live with his son and daughter-in-law for a while. We ask, Lord, that you would help them and him to just get along and to be agreeable. And he always seems pretty agreeable when I'm around him, but Lord, sometimes I know he can be ornery, and so we would just ask God that you would help him in that area, and be with Josie and Andy as they take care of him and try to meet his needs. We would ask for travel safety for John and Nadine and the kids, and we ask God that you would help them to just travel easily, no tire problems, no mechanical problems, just have them sail right along I-80 as they make their way to Colorado. And we would just give you the praise for all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.